Hi, everyone. This is John Artigo. I am the screenwriter for the John Draper Captain Crunch project, and you are listening to the Scene World podcast.
It's this podcast, which has a name that is
Discworld. Oh no, that's a different thing.
Discworld. Yeah, that's a weird sci-fi novel.
Actually, also quite nice games.
It's Larry Niven in it.
Yeah. I mean, we had what was his name again? His first name I forgot.
I don't know.
Last name was Bate, but I forgot his first name.
Chris,
was it Chris Bate? Discworld. I mean, we can just look in our own homepage and using the search function and write Discworld. Was it Chris Bateman?
I was right.
Chris
In your
Bateman.
face. Yeah, I remembered something.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're
Right.
talking
about Scene World podcast,
well,
not
we're-
Discworld podcast.
Well, we're not really talking about that either. We're talking about Lucas Lund.
yeah,
and
but
his,
we are in the Scene World podcast.
Yeah, his novel, Murder on Park Lane, which is a mystery novel based on the detective game from
Nice.
a long time ago.
Nice.
So, and we had him on before. He was on when he was still working on the original version of the book adaptation of the game, like 4 or 5 years ago. And now that has been done, and now they're doing an English translation of it. So that is being worked on right now. There's a Kickstarter which is ongoing right now, so we'll put links to that. There's 26 days as of recording this, so there'll probably be a few less by the time you hear this. But it goes
Right.
through October 1st of 2025.
Right.
So
Right.
if you can, then you should support it. We'll get that right out of the way,
Nice.
right up top, in case people don't listen to anything other than the first minute and a half of this
Right.
podcast.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully you.
Hopefully
you
they listen to more than that,
You
but,
listen to the full
No,
deal.
no.
Yeah. Well, so should we hop to the news?
News, yes.
Yeah.
Let's news it up.
So to actually go back to the topic of Chris Bateman, who was one of the developers of the second Discworld game. I actually just saw that Silk, the game that we spoke about when we interviewed him
Right. Yeah.
back in the day for 2019, and I remember that because I had the runs and you edited this episode for me while I was sitting on the toilet every 5 minutes, and his game Silk is actually now on a special promo on Steam.
Oh yeah.
You can get it for 50% off. In Germany, that's €4.49
Okay, that's not bad.
until the 17th of December. So hopefully, I'm getting this out before that.
That would be nice, because if you don't
Yeah.
get this out before that, then we're going to be a little
People will
outdated.
be very disappointed. Yeah.
People will be disappointed, and we really missed the deadline on the on Lucas's project, and we'll need to reevaluate our careers as podcasters.
Well, it goes till 1st October.
Yeah.
So that's
So if we don't get this out until December, then we will have
No,
past that.
No, you misunderstood me. The promo goes till 17th of September, not
Okay,
December.
You said December. You said December.
Really?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Luckily, we have Descript. I can correct myself in the post-production.
Yeah, why? We had a lovely exchange regarding.
Okay, so
It will
Yeah,
make sense
anyway.
if you fix it.
Anyway, it's ending by 17th of September.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, I had a look because we never followed up after that. It got positive reviews after all
Oh, nice.
on
Okay.
On Steam, and
Hmm.
it's actually published by Hui Games, which are the successor of Husen,
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. I
which
remember
we
that. Yeah.
interviewed. And Hui Games is the successor publishing company of his son, of Andrew Husen, who
Right.
said, "Don't do the same, kid, I did when I was young." And then he was throwing that into the wind and was like, "I'm doing exactly what you did when you were young."
Yeah.
And then he became a game publisher as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's nice to hear. So if you want to go into a 50 times larger than Elder Scrolls game in an open world RPG, this is your thing. All right, other news. iRacing Studios announced they are producing a standalone IndyCar game in 2026. So next year, which is interesting because the last indie game with an indie game license was released in 1997.
Okay.
So, almost 30 years later, we are getting an indie game on PC. Right? And now, people, we are waiting for another NHL game on PC. And that didn't happen since, from EA at least, since 2009.
Well, it's not really it's not that big of a shame because the EA Sports hockey games have they plateaued at a certain point and they have not gotten better. Like it's just they've been slacking on those games. They put a lot into like FIFA and whatnot, but NHL for some reason, NHL really gets neglected.
But not on consoles. Anyway, NHL...
No, on consoles too. NHL on the consoles is like they hit a certain point. It might have been 2009, but they hit a certain point, and it just has not gotten like. In fact, they've lost features since then. Like they've taken things out of the console versions, and it's just. I've got which one do I have? I have 09. 09 is the one that I still play. When I'm going to play NHL.
That's the one I have too. And it still works in Windows 11 without any patches. That's amazing.
There are updates that are available, fan updates, so you can fix the rosters and whatnot to make it reflect today. Don't do what I did, where you just make it so that your favorite players can't retire ever and end up being 75 years old in your dynasty.
Right.
I learned a loophole, and it wasn't NHL 09. It was I think it was 06.
Okay.
That's loud.
Oh yeah, I'm just closing the bottle.
I figured out a loophole in NHL 2006 when you're playing the Dynasty, the 25-year, Dynasty thing. At the end of every season, certain the older players will retire and just be gone from the roster. However, if at the end of the season you trade all the players that you don't want, all your extra people, so you have the minimum number of players on the team, then those people can't retire. So I had like Jeremy Roenick playing center on my Flyers team until he was in his 60s, I think.
Ooh.
Like I just refused to let anybody retire from that I wanted to hang on to.
Ooh.
So it was It was a little loophole I found, and I'm sure I don't know if it's I don't see how it would be different on the newer ones because it's just a mechanic. You need to have this number of players, and if you don't, then no one can leave because then you don't have a team.
Ooh.
But If anyone else out there still playing,
hopefully they survived and didn't die.
No, they're all the players that I kept are still alive, and we're actively producing. We're still like 30, 40 goal scorers into their 50s and 60s. So
nice. Well, I mean, there is still a hockey game on the PC that is actually in early access since a while, tape to tape, but it's more arcadey, not a simulation game.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
That's true. Yeah. Anyway, good news about IndyCar game lovers.
Yeah.
Like myself.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got a little bit of news. Oh yeah.
I still remember. On the PC, like the intro, that was a classic. Like, this is like this is I don't. I mean, there was the announcer who said his name, like, I'm blah.
Yeah.
I'm blah, and this is IndyCar Racing 2 from Papyrus.
Yeah,
I don't remember what the name of the announcer was, but it was an intro, and it was like, at a kid, I mean, 97, I was like, oh my god, this is so realistic. Nowadays, when I look at it, it's like, the sound is crackly and stuff, and like, yeah, but back then it was amazing. Yeah. I had a different perspective on things. Yeah. Anyway, you said you had some bit of news.
Yeah. I've got. I will say, talking about the intros to games, yeah, that the NHL intro for the one that I played, still, that the Avenged Sevenfold song kicks in, and it's like immediately, like, that's all I can think of is that, So it's yeah, it was a good intro. Anyway, yeah. So we've talked before on here about amongst the kind of home built, or not necessarily home built, but homebrew 8-bit machines around. You've got you've got like the Mega 65. You've got the Commander X16. You've got the Phoenix F256K is one that we've covered a couple of times. I don't think we ever spoke to the people that made it. But
no, the only people we ever spoke to was the 128 Neo.
Yes.
The 128 Reloaded, I think, which never came from the Swiss guy.
Right,
and
but those weren't.
We spoke to Jens Schönfeld with his C64 Reloaded.
Right, but those weren't necessarily brand new homebrew machines. Those were re-implementations of the classic hardware.
Yeah, but Mega 65 is also...
Mega 65 is a whole new...
but it is based on the Commodore 65.
It is based on something that existed, yes. It's a thing that existed, even though it wasn't made for sale. But yeah, so the F256K...
Well, I mean, they made 200 of them, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's prototypes you're talking about.
200 prototypes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were sold when Commodore went bankrupt. They were liquidated that way.
All right.
And they're finding new ones. I think just a couple of years ago, they found they found, I think it was like a sawed-off version without the floppy drive built in. In just a drawer somewhere, someone found it. Like, it was like the educational version that was never released.
Like the Edu 64.
Yeah, right.
But that was released with a black and white screen, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and that was kind of like, it was in like a pet case you're talking about.
Right.
But this was they made the C65.
I wish I would have one, but they are so rare.
Yeah. I mean, the C65 had that 1581 drive built into it on the side.
I know.
And like I said, they found a sawed-off version that didn't have that, just the keyboard part that was meant for that was going to be meant for educational purposes, for schools and whatnot. But
Nice.
it never. Again, they never released it. It was a prototype that got sold when the company crapped out. But that's totally a different thing. One of these machines that we've talked about is the Phoenix F256K, which I don't know much about, other than that it's a machine that exists in the world. F250. I'm going to look it up right now just to be. So there's a website you can buy it. Apparently, it's a 65 C816. It's got yeah. So it's got some decent specs, but it's essentially an 8-bit machine. And one of the things that is being ported to it is Exodus Ultima 3.
So the Phoenix, does it have anything to do with the order of the Phoenix?
I don't think so, considering it's spelled Foenix.
Ah, too bad.
Yeah. But
because of this.
Yeah.
If you remember that.
Yeah. I'm yeah, I remember.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry. So it's amazing. I want 12 chicken neck nuggets. It's so stupid.
We'll put a link to, or we'll have to superimpose that in this so people understand what is funny.
Ah, gosh.
What was I talking about? So they're porting. One of the things they're porting to it is Ultima 3, and they've been doing this for a while, I believe. I think we've talked about it before.
Nice.
That Ultima 3 is being ported, but they've just one of the new like steps they've made in importing this is it now has MIDI support.
Yeah, just wanted to ask, isn't that version that runs faster on the C128 and has music in 328 mode?
Yes and no. So it doesn't run faster on the 128. It just, there's more room in memory for the music in the 128. Right. So it'll run in 128 mode, but 40 columns, so it's not the faster. But so now this
music, which it normally doesn't.
Right. But so now this has MIDI music through the onboard the SAM 2695 chip.
Like the Ataris.
Yeah.
The later Atari STs.
Yeah.
Which had MIDI inside. Okay.
Did the Atari ST the STs though, they you needed to have something plugged in. It just couldn't play it through the machine, right? You had to have a MIDI device plugged in, and you could play it through. If I've got like a keyboard that's got MIDI built in, I can plug that into my Atari, and my Atari will play through the keyboard.
I'm not sure, because I think you're mistaken, because there is this multiplayer multiplayer LAN game for the Atari, which is called MIDI Maze. And it actually has music in it.
Okay.
And it's somehow using MIDI to make it multiplayer. But I'm not an Atari freak.
But the way that MIDI works, from what I understand of MIDI, is that so if I had, for instance, a MIDI adapter on my C64, okay, I could plug in a MIDI keyboard and I could play the keyboard, and I could play like the SID with the keyboard. Or I could play through the keyboard from the C64. But I don't think the Atari has because the way that MIDI would work, like the sound.
Here we go.
Selection.
I just looked it up. MIDI Maze, also known as Faceball 2000, which is actually the Game Boy version. I have it. So that's why I know it, because I have the Faceball 2000 Amiga version. And here's why it's called MIDI Maze. on the Amiga. It's using the MIDI ports on the Atari ST. The game is said to have introduced deathmatch combat to gaming in 1978. It also predates LAN party concept by several years. And here is why it's using MIDI. Up to 16 computers can be networked in a MIDI ring by daisy chaining MIDI ports that are built into the Atari ST series. So they repurposed the MIDI ports for network, not for music.
Yeah. Right. But that's not, but it doesn't. So I just looked up how to play MIDI, how to utilize MIDI on the Atari ST. And it says you plug in your MIDI hardware, your keyboard or synthesizer or whatever, launch the sequencing software, and then you can activate a MIDI track and hear the notes that were in the track played back through the MIDI device. So it's not the Atari that's doing it; it's the device. Whereas
we later did the same with the PC and stuff.
Right. But whereas the 256 is playing it in hardware. Like you don't need that attached MIDI device to play this.
Oh, which is
the F256.
Ah, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's playing that through hardware, not through the an attached MIDI device. So it's more like, remember early Windows with the Canyon and all that, and what's the other one? Canyon and something else that the MIDI files that came with Windows.
Oh yeah, Canyon is my favorite.
Oh, Canyon sounds terrible to me.
Only the last 10 seconds sound amazing.
Because it's over.
No, it's when they are building up and all instruments play amazing.
I remember the first time I listened to that, and it was just like, I remember thinking like, this is to showcase the power of Windows, and these songs play, and it's just jangly, like clunk 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 clunk. It's the worst, music I'd ever heard.
But that is because MIDI is just a description file for what instruments to play. But how it sounds depends on the capabilities of the hardware.
Yes, and the song sounds totally different on a Mac. Well, it sounded totally different on a Mac at the time. Didn't sound better, just sounded different.
Exactly. It sounded different on any hardware that had MIDI. So actually, you had MIDI mappers and MIDI synth tables on the cards.
Yeah.
And you could even update them with more instruments. And depending on what MIDI mapper device you put into Windows, this way the music either sounded better or worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how it works. But it's interesting because before I looked this just up, I never understood why was MIDI maze called MIDI maze, because it's using the MIDI maze technology as a network replacement.
That makes sense, 'cause that's basically what MIDI is. It's a network from your computer to your MIDI device.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a misuse of the hardware. It's not. Was not supposed to be.
It's an adaptation. I mean, how much computer stuff is made because that's not what it was meant to do. But we figured out a way to make it do that.
I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, we use the user port for joystick splitters and stuff. I mean,
just wanted to say, most people, including myself in the 90s, we never connected any MIDI to it. We used it as a game port for analog digital joysticks.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's a interesting thing that's being ported to the.
By the way, what most people don't know, and I figured that out at Gamescom last year, because it was like the SID chip is broken, because the C64 we had running had no music. Then I was starting up the the Maxis from SceneWorld, and I was like, "You are mistaken." And he was like, "No, I'm not mistaken. You hear no sound, though the SID chip is broken." And I was like, "No, it's not. That's a lie, because what we do use, and that is hard to understand if you don't know the concept behind it, but we are using Mr. Mouse for the joystick and mouse emulation and for drawing the boxes, right? That is the system that Lee Novak also used and introduced for Lodestar. And it actually, the last version is from 2008. So it has surpassed the lifetime of the Lodestar. And the thing is, when I ran the Maxis of SceneWorld, the mouse arrow was jittering. Why was it jittering? Because what people mostly don't know, the SID chip also uses also supplies the analog registers for mouse, for analog joystick, but that was rarely used, and for pedal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it turned out I was right. It was not the SID chip broken. It was a SID chip missing. The socket was empty when we opened the machine.
Okay.
Yeah, and that it was for that is why it was jittery.
That'll do it.
Right. So now we learned something about MIDI again, and also that using analog registers by sound hardware was already a concept in 1982 with the Commodore 64.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting because I believe the first Commodore mouse for the 64 was introduced with the C64C in 86. Together with GEOS, this is the first version of GEOS. That means for 4 years they had the hardware built into the C64, but never using it.
I think they intended it initially to be used for the paddles.
Right.
And just, it was adapted to work with the mouse. So, because it's the same concept. It's just, it's an axis this way and an axis that way. It's just, the paddle does it differently, a little bit differently than the mouse does. But it's just taking the same signals, basically.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking at the Phoenix 264, 256, and they've actually got some interesting things. There's a floppy drive that you can get for it. It's a 1591.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 3.5 inch DSDD, double density. 720K discs.
Mm.
They said there might be support.
DSDD doesn't make sense because SD means single density.
Yes.
And DD means double density.
Well, no. It's DSDD. Double-sided, double density. That's
DSDD.
Yeah.
Not SDDD.
No, DSDD.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it says it might support.
Order of the letters makes a difference.
Yeah, it might support the HDD discs.
Ooh.
The 1.44 megabyte floppies that are easier to find.
Depending.
But, yeah, and it is compatible with Commodore computers. So hang on. So if I get this Phoenix 1591 floppy drive, does that mean it'll work as a 1581?
I would want one for a 1540.
Yeah, I know.
1541 replacement.
That's interesting because it does look like it has the correct ports on the back, the serial ports. I'd be real interested to know if that actually would work as like a 1541 replacement.
Right.
Because it says at the bottom of it, yes, it is compatible with Commodore computers.
Ooh. Nice. And how much does it cost?
I have no idea. I don't. Oh, shop is right there. Let's find out. Okay, accessories. I don't see that in the accessories anywhere. Let's look some more. Shop.
Isn't there a search function?
Not really. No, there isn't. Okay, 256 products. No, that's the computer again. Shop. I don't see that available in the shop. It's listed in products under accessories. In fact, it's the only product under accessories. But I don't see any place that you can buy it. Oh, I guess maybe it's not. It says there's a JTAG port that will not be there for the end of product. So maybe it's still in development. I really like to talk to these guys and learn about this thing because I keep seeing a lot about it places, but I don't really, but not enough to actually understand like what the idea and concept is behind it.
Send me the links. I will talk to them.
Okay.
If they talk to me.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I got. That's my news.
Nice. Okay, other news from me, mister. There are more supported platforms for the Walter Day story. Arcades and love songs. And now it's also available on Apple TV.
Oh boy.
Plus.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Gee
Which is
willikers.
interesting because it's one of those things that I have. So.
Yeah.
Perhaps I should have waited because then I would have gotten it for free because I am a subscriber, but I mean I got the Vimeo / Vox version. So, and another news is we had Polaria Payon, the contracted composer of the Game Gear version of Peplum, which is hopefully still coming out. And they announced on Blue Sky recently that they changed names from Polaria Payon to Love Penguin. And Blue Sky is the first social media that got the transition. So now the question is, should we rename our podcast interview accordingly?
No.
But now the people who don't know about the name change might miss the interview, right?
Well, I don't think that I wouldn't change it.
Okay. And
that's what it was at the time. That's who was at the time. Changing the name of it now would be kind of
okay.
It would be like deleting Tess and Tell from our catalog.
Oh, really? Who would ever do that?
Yeah, that would never happen to us. No.
But I got my revenge. I mean,
well,
I used the G22 and just put her together with Jeruntel.
Yeah.
And spliced a promo out of that. Right. And as a matter of fact, Fear Scene, right?
Yes.
4 has been kickstarted now. So, if you want to have the 4th issue, pledge your pardon.
Yeah.
Right.
It is a good magazine. It's got good stuff in it.
And an article from me this time. Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's true. I'm copying Enter Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. The article will be about how to get old games running on Windows 11.
Okay. I can see that being a good topic.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it contains some horror/crime games as a reference.
Right.
So if you want to relive your old games and have a Windows 11 machine, you are welcome. Yeah, other news is one of those interviews that you have been missing from 2022, and that was actually a double feature because it was the only episode where we had two guests one-on-one next to each other in the same episode, and that was Gregor Müller about his casebook 1899, and Eva Ramona Rohleder and her A Twisted Tale. And the first game, the casebook 1899, actually was released today on the 4th of July.
Oh, right.
On Steam, yeah. So for people that wonder, because it was asked in the Steam community, yes, the game doesn't have English voiceover, only German voiceover and English subtitles. Or German subtitles. Yeah, because the Kickstarter money wasn't enough to have also voiceover artists hired for the English version. So I tried it out because I was a backer, and I have to admit it's confusing to read English and listen to German. So it will be one of the few games that I will be playing in German, because normally I play every game in English rather than German.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But this will be an exception because I prefer for the atmosphere to have voiceover instead of reading. You know.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's actually my last news, and there
Okay.
we can close the chapter.
Yes, we can. Let's go and let's pop over to the past and talk to Lucas about
But not as
murder.
fast as Casebook 1899. Which is
Yeah.
actually interesting that the last news entry is also about a murder case.
Yeah.
Or many murder cases. Because it's a point-and-click adventure with many murder cases.
Yeah.
And you can even fail and come up with the wrong conclusions and still finish the game. So by sucking hard and putting the wrong people into prison.
Okay.
Well, now let's move to Lucas Lund and
Yeah.
Sweden. Yee, nice.
Okay.
Today we have again, and now I have to. Okay, I didn't remember. Yeah, well, okay. So it's Lucas Lund, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Hi.
nice. Just to make sure it's not some weird Swedish pronunciation. Okay, so today we have again Lucas Lund from the detective novel book on the podcast. Welcome back to the show, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I learned that this time we are talking about the translation of your Swedish novel from 4 years ago, right?
We did discuss this 4 years ago, but the
Exactly.
book is from last year.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so it took a bit longer than...
Yeah.
Then-
Unfortunately,
okay,
it did.
okay.
Yeah.
And you decided Sweden is not enough? You want to go worldwide?
Of course. At least if you call the world of Commodore 64, that's the worldwide thing.
Okay.
So yeah. So I did focus. I've been thinking a lot during this project. Should I release it for worldwide as an official book or just for retro gamers, more or less? And I did land on that retro gamers, I think, is the best audience for the moment. And if there is an interest for this book for a wider audience, I could release a more official version without the Commodore 64 connection.
Now a hot take. Over 90% of the Swedish population is fluent in English. Why even make it in Swedish?
You're right about that, actually. But I think they say that the English literature sells better and better in Sweden. So you're actually right about that. So I think the young generation, in some cases, prefer the English version. So that's a trend. But still, I would say that the Swedish version is still on top.
Okay.
And it's especially for, I would guess now, but especially for audiobooks. And the audiobooks, since we spoke, I would say that the audiobooks has just gone crazy. That's the thing today in Sweden. And I think Sweden is a little bit ahead the rest of the world when it comes to audiobooks. And how many people actually listening instead of reading text. Yeah.
I had one example about that translation thing, but it's actually about a Danish. So on Netflix, they had a Danish series. I totally forgot what it was, and obviously, I'm watching it in English because I'm like, don't want to have the German dubbed version, right? And here's what they actually did. I guess to save money, they had all the Danish actors to redo their dialogues in English as well, and since every actor had a different sufficiency level of English, and some had very strong accents, and some had no accent, and some had a brutal accent. It's jumping all over the place. The quality of the literacy of the English language they have, and I'm like, oh my God. How awful that was.
It sounds like the experiments you can find of today when they let an AI, for example, make an audiobook or something. And it sounds perfect, but in some cases with names and places, you just wonder what happened there, really.
Right, but in this case, it's the whole dialogue, because the actor in question actually can't do it better, I mean, obviously it's more realistic because they are actually the same voices and the same actors. But I'm like, oh my God, it's because you're not used to have a series or a movie where the language is not spoken perfectly all over the board. At least not for me, because mostly you watch, I guess, even you, American stuff, right? And this was like a very wild experience. So I totally get when you say you want a professionally translated English version. However, I would say your English doesn't sound too bad to me, at least.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, and I did an English translation actually. I used AI. I tried that. Because if you hire someone to make an English translation, that will cost, definitely. So I made, in this case, I made an AI translation. I started to edit it a few times, and then I did send the sample to a real translator to watch, or to just get the price really. But it was a misunderstanding, so the translator started to work with a few pages, and I got the feedback on those pages, and then I realized, okay, I can never go for an AI translation or something like that. I really need a human translator to get the tone right and to emphasize the right things. And it was really a journey to learn that.
It's interesting because when I talk to ChatGPT, I actually have the feeling that it knows better German than myself. But
it gives you that false sense of security. I've been doing some coding again, and I use some ChatGPT just to try some things out. Just be like, critique my awful coding, and it gave me back some stuff, and it was completely nonsense. Like nothing it gave me worked. But I could also go and that's the scary thing that I think with it is that like I asked it, write something in the style that I would write it. And, because there's stuff I've written online, so it has got things to sample from. And it made something that was almost good enough.
Mm.
It was scarily close.
Yeah. And I think that's a part of it, to handle AI on the correct way, so to say. Then you can really get some really good things out of it. It needs right information, and then you get correct information back. And
Right.
I made some. I'm not a good user when it comes to AI, and the different like Copilot and other providers, but I am in some cases I'm really surprised how good it is, giving back the right feedback, and sometimes it's like you say, it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Especially
but it acts like it knows. It's like, here's what you want, here's what it is, and it's like, yeah, you must know, and it's like, it's nonsense.
It's self-confidence is just great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when when like you use yourself, you're saying now things didn't get too right. Yeah, you're right about that, he says. And
right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
I made that totally up.
yeah.
Yeah. So now the question, of course, is: did the Swedish version of the book sell well?
It's a little bit boring to say no. Surprisingly bad, I would say. But I would say, from my perspective, that book was much more well written than my first book. And the world of literature, I would say, has changed a lot since I released my debut novel in 2018.
Okay.
Because, as I said, now we have the audiobooks as well. So maybe I did sell half the volume of my first book. I don't know if I should be satisfied or not about that. I'm a self-publisher still, except for the audiobook, which I published together with a hybrid publisher with a very good voice. It was Thomas Bolme. Back in the day, he was Tintin, Hergé's Tintin, making the voice for him. So he's one of the best in Sweden, I would say.
Ooh.
And still I don't have the statistics from the audiobook. I will get that at the end of the year. But I would say I'm surprised that people don't find my book, really. So world has changed on the way. Maybe I don't get the right algorithms, or I'm just a bad writer.
Ooh, I mean,
I don't want to say that, but
we will see about that when the English version is out there. Then I can give you my opinion. So I saw actually on your Kickstarter, you're not planning an English version of the audiobook version.
Not yet. I'm not said anything about that yet. But let's say we get it fully pledged, and if we get the good margin, of course, I would think about an audiobook. But producing an audiobook is a quite expensive thing. You will pay maybe as much as for the printed book, only for that. And then you need to let somebody distribute that digital format to the different platforms. And that costs a monthly fee for that. So I need to calculate for that as well. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You could get Sam, the creator of the game, to voice the book.
Why not? I don't know if he would agree, but would be great. Yeah, that's an art in itself, really, to have a voice for a book. So a good voice actor is really, really important, I would say. I wouldn't do it myself, and I don't know if I would force Sam to do it, even though I would be very proud, of course.
I mean, I saw in the awards for the pledges, you actually got him to make a signature version of the book, at least.
Yeah, or a postcard that I add
Postcard,
as an add-on to the book.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm really, really happy for that. But he will only sign, of course, if this project goes live on the 1st of October. Otherwise, this is a all or nothing project.
I mean, it is live now, but I mean, if it successfully succeeds. Ah.
Yeah.
But of course, I hope if the first try fails, you do it a second time. I mean, we spoke about this before. I mean, for example, on Indiegogo, you have actually a flexible funding where you don't need to reach 100% of your project. I mean, we had Dave Lowe here on the show, and he had to do it like 3 times. And a second, and the first time was actually because his hardware broke
Oh,
during the campaign, so he had actually to abort it. So
oh.
sometimes you need a couple of tries actually, but we also met creators that gave up the first try already,
Okay,
Yeah.
which is a
okay.
shame. You know.
It is a shame, and since I'm quite stubborn in this case, I'm all the
It's
way.
good
My
to know.
brain is working the whole time, good and bad. But I try to find new ways. So there you put a seed into my mind, I would say. Yeah,
I mean, as a mechanical design engineer, you have to have a working brain, right?
yeah. And always there's always a deadline, and you always need to reach a certain goal. So
Right.
there's nothing about saying it you cannot achieve that or that. But
Right.
sometimes you need to give up based on a good analysis. Let's say it
Hmm.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so what did the analysis look like actually for the Kickstarter? How did you go about it? I mean, do you have like a plan, like how to reach your target audience? I mean, you have a pretty modest budget of 4,247 euros. That's not really a lot
That's
compared
not.
to other projects.
I agree on that. And the reason behind that is that it's some parts of this book is already financed,
Mhm.
like it's released in Swedish already. So I've already paid for people reading the book, editing, and things like that.
Mm.
So the book is already done, so to say, in Swedish. So what people pay for this in this campaign is for the translation, for the cover art, the typesetting, printing, and then of course if there are any add-ons like if we make this to a more premium level. So the base level, you get the nice book, but you don't get these sprayed edges or printed insides of the book and so on. No color
Right.
prints. But the book should look really nice, even if we only reach 100%.
Hmm.
But yeah, but for my economy, it's on the limit because I don't want to pay an extra, but I don't need for that limit. I don't need for to earn anything else either.
Hmm.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the base level more or less.
Hmm. So that means if you get a tremendous more backers, you actually could make a super shiny version of the book in the end.
Yeah,
Glossy,
a golden
glossy.
one, glossy in all
Yeah.
places, and yeah. I do mention in this Kickstarter that you can get sprayed edges, a ribbon, bookmark, some printed pages, some UV varnish on the text, so glossy text to get that premium feel. Could be more than that. I don't know the name for when they make when the handmade the back of the book, so you more easily can open it and so on. But we could put some extras, of course.
AJ, you are the native
That
English
would be like
speaker.
hand binding, I would
Hand
imagine.
binding, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand binding. Okay.
So, but if you really shoot high over the target, we can get this audiobook as well, of course.
Ooh.
But I'm happy if we fully fund it.
I mean, in the English-speaking world, there are a lot of people who actually could speak it. I mean, look for example at all the composers from Great Britain, like getting famous Rob Hubbard or Matt Gray or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be like, woo!
Yeah.
AJ having a strange look to that idea, but
Yeah. That's,
Yeah. About Rob Hubbard, maybe you have watched my video on the Kickstarter campaign. Have you?
I had a look. Yeah, I looked.
Yeah. Have you heard the music from the game and compared it with the music in that campaign?
No, but I
Yeah.
saw in the credit it says remixed by you.
Yeah. So the tune is actually that's Sam Manthorpe's tune, and the remix is made by me. It's actually the first time I ever made any music, and
Ooh.
that was also inspired by Sam actually, Sam Manthorpe who made the game, because he said in a mail conversation sometime that he was creating, even though he doesn't create games today, he is creating some music for himself.
Mm.
And he mentioned Ableton, the music program, and I looked it up and saw that, oh, nice program, but it's a little bit expensive for me. So, then I did found out that other people made music just on their mobile phone on the iOS in GarageBand. So I tried, can I make this tune in GarageBand? And that's actually the tune you hear in the campaign. So it's inspired again by Sam Manthorpe.
Ooh. So you would actually be the perfect promotion sample for Apple for the next update of GarageBand or whatever, you know. Now our editor is even used for a Kickstarter project or something, you know, for a book from a Swedish author. You know?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so Rob Hubbard or any other voice, maybe not. We'll see.
One thing that I found super interesting, which I never saw on any other Kickstarter or Indiegogo, whatsoever, any other crowdfunding, was your refund policy. It's like you wrote really very, very detailed when you don't do refunds or replacements. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so detailed. Like you must have had really bad experience in the past to write such detailed rules about not refunding or replacing a book sent out.
Yeah, and maybe that's too much. It's good to have your feedback on that actually, because if it's just too much, I will of course remove it.
I mean, I found it interesting because it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
I did look into other people's Kickstarter campaign with books and did found texts like this. So I thought that maybe I should have some kind of disclaimer in my campaign. But you are right about that, because it's a little bit, let's say, I don't know, boring, but it's sad to have it, because if you go into a campaign, you want to fund something, it should be 100% joy.
I mean, for example, when replacements are not covered, the shipping address was incomplete or incorrect. I mean, then you are not actually replacing it; you are just reshipping it.
Yeah.
It's not really a replacement. Just a thought I had.
Yeah.
Or when the item was successfully delivered based on tracking information. Yeah, that's also another thing. I actually had the case myself that in the place where I live, there used to be a bakery here, and we had delivery drivers from the bakery stealing parcels out of the staircase.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like it showed delivered successfully, but it was actually stolen. And in this case, luckily, I was the one that was supposed to take the parcel by that is for the neighbor, but I didn't sign the delivery. That means the DHL person had to cover the lost parcel with his own salary. But in this case, of course, the money would be returned, but you would still need to reship the item, obviously. So, in this case, the insurance of the parcel company covers it, you know? So, just some examples where I was like, okay, there are some edge cases where actually the receiver is not as at fault, you know?
Yeah, it's good that you mention it. So I could be a little bit, I could reduce that text a little. I think rewrite it, some parts of it,
I mean,
just
not
to
reducing, just telling you some
yeah,
examples from my own experience where
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
the receiver is not as at fault. And sometimes you actually have customs not doing the job they are supposed to do. And I had the cases where they misread my name, so the notification letter to come to the customs and pick up my parcel and pay for the income taxes barely arrived because they totally
mm,
misspelled my name. So such case, and then you are like, okay, now I have to run
mm,
after
yeah,
after my
yeah.
parcel. It's
I
it's
have,
it's a it's a bit
yeah,
tricky there.
I have some bad experience, but that's from selling over like we not via eBay, but yeah, we have other providers here in Sweden also. But
Right.
and that was when I did sell out. Hold your ears if you like Star Wars now, but I did sell out my whole collection.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
because I was collecting Star Wars figurines back in the day, and I did put them in the box, well ordered, and they were lying there for 35 years. And then I thought it is a pity to have them in a box like that. It's better to sell them and let other people have them because they were in a very, very good shape also,
Right.
still with the
Well,
smell from the boxes. But what I like to say there was that I sold a figure, and just 1 or 2 days later, the receiver did open a dispute on that. I haven't received it yet.
ooh,
Couldn't be. I don't know why they opened a dispute so early after I'd sent it,
right.
but it was so many messages back and forth, and we have to involve the provider and
Holy
so much
shit.
things there. And the thing was, this was a tracked package, so I couldn't say it's there or it's there. So I don't know what happened. I have to
Mm.
pay the whole thing, and yeah,
Mm.
so
B-
that's why. Yeah,
because to say shut your ears if you don't want to hear it. I have no problem with people selling stuff. What I don't like to hear is people putting it to trash. That's a waste because I always think collections and such things. There are people who are, honoring it and rather sell it to the next person than putting it to trash. I always
yeah,
thought putting it to trash is a big issue. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, one last example I have is I bought a reprint from a library in India, and when German customs, they randomly check the contents of the parcel if it's fitting what's written on the CN22 customs declaration form, and they actually used a big knife and cut through the middle of the book, and the book was wasted.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it was a reprint, but it was the only copy the library from India had left. So
Wow.
I
That
ended
feels
up
like
with a
something the
broken.
post office is liable for.
No,
Yeah.
no, it was customs.
Well,
And
either
customs,
way, customs is liable for something like that if they break the
German
thing.
customs actually are not liable. It's crazy, but they are not liable for any damage that they do when they
Mm.
execute their job.
Yeah. And somebody
It's
has to
crazy,
pay
but
it.
that's the way it is in Germany. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and somebody has to pay it. It's you as a customer or the one who sends the things.
Right. Yeah, by
So
EU law, it's unfortunately the seller who shipped it.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was the same thing here with again the Star Wars figurine because the one who's buying has the rights on his side. But
Right.
what about me? I have a collector's item. I'm selling to somebody and I've lost it. But
Right.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sometimes it's crazy.
And one last example that I have, that was also eBay. I was selling it, and the thing is, the buyer was American in America, but I was supposed to ship it to his family in Denmark. And now the thing is, obviously, what he didn't know is that in USA it doesn't matter if the receiver's name matches the address, right? But anywhere else in the world, if the receiver name doesn't match the address, it's returned to sender.
Mm.
So the parcel arrived in Denmark. The postman in Denmark said the person answering the door doesn't match the name of the receiver. So they put it to the post office and waited for pickup from the actual receiver, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not possible because the receiver is living in the US, right? He's not traveling to Denmark just to pick up his parcel, right? So I actually wrote an email to the Danish postal service, and they said they if the receiver writes a written letter declaring that he's giving permission to his mom, who has a different family name, to pick it up for him, they would hand it over to him. But instead, after I did all this work, the seller did nothing, and it returned to sender with a remark from the Danish post office, unclaimed, return to sender. And I was like, holy shit, And during this time, he opened a case with eBay on December 25th, so on Christmas Day. So while my family was celebrating Christmas, I was sitting with eBay USA chat support, sorting out this issue, and I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
not again. And some people don't understand that the rules are different based on countries, and
Mm.
I don't to this day I don't know why the US is the only country in the world where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anywhere else you can't get parcels that are not meant for you.
Mm. That's
So it's weird,
yeah.
I mean, except of course if it's a neighbor and he signed to get to hold the parcel for you, but not if it's the same address and a different family name. So sometimes
Well,
people
in
don't
the U.S.,
understand.
they don't even care about it, how the address is on there, as long as there's like a barcode that gets put on that they read,
Right.
that gets sorted
Yeah.
to. That just needs to be on there.
Exactly.
Really, it's the zip +4. It's your zip code for wherever you happen to live, and then there's a +4 at the end of it, which is basically your address. That's what
Right.
needs to be
Mm.
there. Is
Right.
whatever that happens to be.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
it only works this way in America, not anywhere else. So I totally get where you're coming from, Lucas, saying, yeah, well, I had some bad experience selling my Star Wars figurine collection. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess probably we have to print a few more for the worst cases to get that covered.
Yeah. I think so. And I've also calculated for that because if I go for low volume, the price per each book will be too high. So I better print a few more. And also, I have allowed people to buy the book after the last date, but then the price goes up a little bit.
Oh, so you will
So
make late orders too available?
yeah, late pledges.
Late pledges?
Uh,
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice,
so I
nice.
try to sell a few more. Yeah,
Okay, that's good to know.
yeah,
That
yeah.
of course doesn't mean people are supposed to delay it, because then those people might be the margin needed to successfully fund the project, right?
Yeah, could be so. And also, if we don't fully pledge the campaign, there will be no book at all. So there is no use really waiting too long, because there won't be any books if so. Yeah.
You know what have been what would have been an awesome thing if you made a reprint version of the game as well with the author. With the author's permission, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
That
thought
would-
about that, but buying the book and the game together, that would be like,
Yeah, that's a cool idea. That hasn't really struck my mind really, but that depends on that. It's so much work with the book only, so I focus on that.
Right.
Uh,
Just
but I
giving you
do,
ideas. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Thanks
the
for that.
main problem, of course, is if you make physical disc versions, the main issue might be sourcing enough discs in good quality, enough empty 2.25-inch DD discs. It's not very
Uh,
easy.
uh,
But you could make a digital D64 or G64 disc image version as
yeah, or
digital.
cassette version. You can still buy cassettes, so
Right. Oh yeah, but the cassette version on eBay that I found is like 500 euros, and I'm like, no
yeah.
way, I'm not buying a game for
No.
500 euros.
I've seen that too.
Right.
Yeah.
The most I ever paid for a C64 game was 200 euros. That was my
Okay.
maximum so far.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
that
Does
was a
anyone own
special.
the rights to the detective game? The actual like the game itself?
Good question.
Good
It was released
question.
by Angus Press Software.
Yeah.
It says
And I think Grand Slam Entertainment bought Angus Press Software.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Because the reason I know that, it is of course because I wrote a book based on the game, but so I made some research, but also I tried to find the front cover or the cover from the game and who did really make that cover, because
Hmm.
I want for this book, the detective version, I want the cover from the game on the book, or at least looking very, very close to it. So I wanted to know who to cred in this
Yeah,
case.
and then Grand Slam, it says that was a video game software house in Britain, but I don't think it is anymore, and I don't know if that was ever bought out by anybody.
Mm.
There
In
was
which
a
case,
freeware version of the game put out on Nintendo DS in 2009.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's
Yeah, and I have tried to reach those guys actually
oh really?
about the game and about the cover and so on, but I think it was Headsoft, I think, who made that game, and I couldn't reach them because I think they were like putting down their homepage or something
ooh,
at that time.
Yeah, their web page doesn't seem to exist anymore.
Yeah,
and Sam doesn't
Headsoft.
know himself.
I haven't asked him about the rights to the game. I guess he has some kind of rights to it without knowing for 100%, but
Yeah, I mean, perhaps it's returning to the author. That's what I'm
maybe,
asking.
maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And the people involved in Grand Slam Entertainment, I think they are not so much active anymore. So it needs some really detective work to find out, I think. Yeah,
Another
that could be
sequel
the
to
next
the
book.
novel.
yeah, yeah. But how about you guys? Have you thought about if you would like to read a book based on a computer game or based on a Commodore 64 game?
Oh,
What would that be?
absolutely. I mean, that's a thing that
Good question.
that's actually a thing that used to sort of happen. I remember way back when one of my preferred games, one of the games I got into later on in my C64 time was the TSR D&D games, you know, the Forgotten Realms and whatever else. And most of those had like a tie-in book that went with it. You know, I remember actually getting a couple of them that had the book in it. So it was kind of, and a lot of times the book had absolutely nothing to do with what was in the game.
Yeah.
Aside from like the characters were the same, but they're doing totally different things. But yeah, that was interesting. I enjoyed that, but also even other games. A lot of times, and again, one of my absolute favorites on the C64 was this game called Space Rogue, and that came with a little, like like maybe 20-page or whatever novella of the setup for the game. So it's a thing that like reading these tie-in and books and pieces of literature and stuff was actually something that was done at the time a lot.
Yeah. And if you would wish today, if somebody wrote a book based on a game, a whole novel, what would that be?
I mean, there are some very successful ones. I mean, for example, on the PC, Life is Strange is a very successful series of I would say interactive novels. Perhaps that would be make good as a book, you know. Perhaps that would be something. Yeah, just a thought.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Because
mean, it has been done. I mean, there is a Command and Conquer book that I've never read.
ah, yeah,
You know.
and I think
Um,
I think I've seen David Braben's Elite. You know that game from
Mm-hmm.
1984 with the vector
Yeah, yeah.
graphics. I think I did see a few years ago a book based on that, but I'm not sure because I haven't. When I Google, I don't find so much information about computer game-based novels really.
Hmm.
So
right.
maybe that information has disappeared into the darkness of the internet. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there are a
Another
lot of
example
games
would.
that
Sorry.
you know I've had some games that I've played, you know, that I feel like a book of the game would be better than the game. You know, like there was
Mm,
a game that we reviewed years and years ago called Bombshell, which was an okay
mm,
game, but the plot line to it would have been a fantastic, you know,
True.
book or a
True.
movie or whatever. You know,
mm.
something like that I would have enjoyed infinitely more than actually playing the game.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
just you understand the background, Lucas. The reason why Bombshell wasn't that successful is actually it was supposed to be a Duke Nukem game, a successor, but as you probably know, the rights were sold to Gearbox, which didn't do anything with it since the last Duke Nukem release in 2011, which actually took like 15 years for completion.
Yeah, but
So yeah,
the game that came out was nothing to do with Duke Nukem, and I
right,
mean
mm,
it didn't do so well because people kind of wanted it to be and it wasn't.
exactly.
But
mm.
the game itself, like again, like the it was okay to play if you like that sort of thing. But for me, it was like the storyline and whatnot would have been better as another piece of media I could have ingested rather than have to slog through this
True,
game. And there's a lot of
true.
them like that. There's I mean, I'm looking at my Steam library, and it's like, yeah, I'd you know, Cyberpunk 2077. Lots of people like that game. I haven't gotten through the tutorial. I'd rather read the thing. I'd rather
Mm,
not have to do anything in the game, just to read just watch it or read it. You know.
Yeah,
hmm,
yeah,
hmm.
yeah. And sometimes I'm wondering if I would write a story again based on a computer game, what would that be? But that has to be, I think, a game with an atmosphere or
Hmm.
where as you say, the plot line is really well defined. I think for the detective game, it was really well defined because you had all the characters needed there. You have the plot, and there are some iconic scenes through the game that really sometimes hard to write about because they are so crazy in some cases, but that makes the challenge more fun as well.
Right.
But there are
Right.
also other games that you have this great atmosphere in.
Mhm.
So I think,
Well,
Or
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
all, you know, it's really all just a different method of storytelling. You know, in
right,
the you
right.
yeah,
know in days long past, storytelling was an interactive thing where you'd sit around a fire and you know you'd tell a story and people would interact with you and things would change and whatnot. And then later on, especially I would say in the 20th century, it became more of a, you know, it's a book. Here's the story, or it's a TV show or a movie. It's something you sit and you consume, but it's not like you interact much. And now we're getting back more into the interaction with video games and even some, like, you know, some um like I can't think of what the word would be. Sort of, you know, an ebook kind of where there is a little bit more interaction with it than there would
yeah.
be, you know, just a regular thing. But But ultimately, it all comes down to, and none of these are better or worse than anything else. It's just different ways of telling a story. And
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a book of something that a game or a book or a movie or an old man sitting at a campfire. It's all a way of communicating, which I feel like should be more kind of meshed together. Like there should be more books based on games because there's a lot of games based on books.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could make a successor to the detective novel game based on your book.
Yeah.
But for this you would need to learn assembler, I guess, or a different
Yeah.
language.
I don't know. There's a lot of tools these days where you don't need to learn anything anymore.
Yeah, but still, I wouldn't trust AI to develop a good
No,
game.
not AI, no, but
Mm.
there are tools.
Yeah.
As
But
I've discovered.
you're right about that, AJ, because storytelling it has transformed over the years, and we have
Right.
people from the movie business in Sweden that has gone from movies into making games actually.
Mhm.
And I
Right.
think they're quite successful in that as well, because both have this storytelling, and the storytelling is really, really needed. It's important in today's games because they can be very interactive. You have the graphics and the sound effects and the music and the
Yeah.
whole atmosphere.
Right.
You
And
have
we're
a
now
palette there.
just now seeing real movies and media that are based on games be good, because for a long time, if it was based on a video game, it was Wing Commander, that awful movie from the 90s. Yeah, it was the 90s, yeah. Or stuff like
Yeah.
that, or the original Super Mario Brothers movie, which had nothing to do with
Or the
anything.
Double Dragon movie also.
I didn't see the Double Dragon movie. I saw I saw Wing Commander in theaters after playing actual Wing Commander on
Oh.
like on PlayStation and whatnot, and then we went to the movie and we're like what is and it was such a brain, it was such a like a brain scrambler, because we had just played, I think it was Wing Commander 3, which had Mark Hamill and Roddy McDowell and all these, or Malcolm McDowell,
Right,
not Roddy McDowell.
right,
What am I
right.
talking about? All these actual actors and whatnot in the game. And then we go to this movie and it's like Freddie Prinze Jr. and like random people. And it's got nothing to do with what we just watched. And
Right.
we're like, we just watched the movie for this game on the game and it was better than the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And there is a crazy example, Mortal
But-
Kombat. Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Mortal Kombat is an arcade game,
hmm
and they made a movie out of it.
Right.
And then they made an arcade game
Right,
out of the
yeah.
movie that was out of the arcade game
Yeah.
called Mortal
Right.
Kombat.
Right. But now
the
you're starting
movie
to see
as a
you're-
game.
Yeah, but now you're
So-
starting to see things like The Last of Us or
Right.
a Half-Life. Half-Life? Yeah, no, not Half-Life. Half-Life, is that a game? What am I talking? Fallout. Oh my god.
Half-Life is also a game.
Yeah, I know, but is it a movie or TV show? I'm not sure. I'm thinking of Fallout. Fallout. Fallout and all that, where these are actually like they're taken seriously, and they're well made, which is kind of like again, the early stuff that was video game based wasn't really taken seriously because it was
Right.
kind of like it's a video game and no one.
Or Doom.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so now it's like kind of the renaissance of like realizing that this is media that can be translated to other things well, and it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like a chintzy knockoff or adaptation or something. It can be faithful.
And of course you need to stay to that media has certain rules and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So, and of course you come in with expectation of the
Right.
viewer or of the player. So yeah, there are things like that to consider as well.
Yeah.
So it's an art to really adapt to a new format, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Another
yeah.
example would probably be Hogwarts Legacy. I started playing a while ago. It's actually not bad.
What is it?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Terrence Posner. Yeah.
Yeah. Which actually was having a shitstorm because of the author being anti-gay or whatever.
Yeah,
and
she's terrible.
And I'm
She's awful.
like, what has the game to do with it? Probably not a lot. But...
Well, aside from the fact that it's giving her lots of money,
Right.
that's
Right,
kind of
right,
the
right.
thing. We don't want to give the crazy people money.
But the game is not bad.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which is like not everything that is good is done by nice people. That's another
that's,
bad thing. However.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Will you
so
be
now we
doing
know the
a
new plans.
yeah? Will you be doing
making
once it's done? You know, if the funding is successful and we you print books and whatnot, will you be doing like publicity for it? Like, will you be going out to locations and you know doing like the readings and stuff in bookstores that they make us all do?
Possibly, but I have not no plans yet on that.
Okay.
Come to Gamescom. It's Sweden and Germany
Yeah.
is not far away from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Mina
yeah.
Becker had her bookshelf there. She was selling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to think about that. Usually, when I, as an author, try to come into places and for readings and so, I really need to work hard because mostly you get the no from.
Really?
Yeah, but it depends on who you ask. Libraries more open for authors, of course, and yeah, I tried
the
a
good
lot when
thing-
I. Yeah.
The good thing is the retro area of Gamescom is free, so you're not
Yeah.
paying for the booth once you are admitted.
Oh, you don't have to pay for the booth anymore?
Nope.
Oh.
No, you never had.
Oh,
Retro was
I thought
always free.
you used to. I thought we got it for free, but everyone else had to.
No, nobody is paying.
Because I know we shared our booth with somebody a few times.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
well, not officially, but but the retro and the cosplay are the two areas where you don't have.
Yeah,
to
because I was
pay.
gonna say, you know, come and like tack yourself onto our table, you know, like that's.
Yeah, but I guess a book author is retro enough, especially this theme, to be admitted for the.
Well,
for-
I mean,
for
the
first
game
time.
is, you know, a retro C64 game. It
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, the edge case AJ is talking about is because 2 years ago there was actually an author of an indie game, and indie is a different area, and that actually cost €1,000 for the booth. And you have the second problem that there are so many people trying to apply for a booth that they actually have had to start a lottery because there's not enough space to get all the authors of indie games having a booth at Gamescom. So, and if you're not drawn, you are lost out.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the fairs, because if you need a booth and you want to get your money back, you will probably never get your money back on a book. You make
Right.
it just more for fun than
Right.
to get any
yeah,
money.
so that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The retro area is perfect because you're not paying it for the first place. The hardest part is probably finding a sleeping place. But anything else is it's not a problem. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to sleep under the bridge in Cologne. That's not what you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's the
That
hardest.
might be fun.
But
When I got there for Gamescom, that's what I'm doing. I'm sleeping under the bridge.
yeah. I mean, if you are really adventurous, but I guess people at a certain age are not doing it, you could actually apply for a tent at a Gamescom camp, which is
Okay.
10 minutes on foot away from the fair, and then you are camping in a tent for a week.
I got
But
a.
Yeah.
It would be. Well, I got a stupid tent. It would be great. It's massive. It's got a lanai. It has like a screened-in porch. It's preposterous. If I could smuggle it into Germany, that would be fantastic. We could all stay in there. We could all just pitch that tent and just kind of hang out. There's room.
Right.
Sounds
So-
great. I'm actually tenting once a year, a whole week. Yeah.
You see?
So
That would be perfect solution for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And public transport from your sleeping place to the fair is also free. If you are an exhibitor,
Oh,
you're getting a
Wow.
free public transport ticket, you know.
nice.
And I
Okay.
mean, honestly, if you are going elsewhere, you just say to the person checking your ticket, I'm going to my sleeping place. I mean, they are not going to follow you to check if it's true.
No.
You know, so that's an option. I mean, you almost have like 500,000 people
Yeah.
attending Gamescom.
Oh,
That's definitely a promo boost for your book.
yeah, really.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Wow. Well, I can show you this one, how it looks
Uh-huh.
today. It's a Swedish version.
Ooh,
And
nice.
if you have seen the game, perhaps you see some similarities.
Yes,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
on the Kickstarter it says not final version.
Yeah.
So I guess the English version of the book will have a totally different cover. Otherwise, you could have just printed the Swedish one as an
Yeah.
example in the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking I had that in mind. Maybe I should print the official version as well, so I can send it together with this retro game version. But I finally came to the conclusion that I should only focus on the retro game version, so I keep the goal as low as possible, so we can actually make this easier to make successful. But the book will come with a game like or the actually original game cover. But I'm not fully sure about the cover art. Do you know about the rights on that? I've searched some for it, but
I have no idea.
I don't.
Especially Great Britain, not my turf.
yeah, neither
We
for
could
And
me.
ask. We could ask. Andrew might be useful to ask with that.
yeah,
He knows
he's
everything about
he's
everything.
our expert in book
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
I've tried. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll give him a. I'll give him a shout, and maybe he can get in touch with you or something.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
well,
great.
his email address is pretty easy because he is
Yeah.
one of our staff members.
Yes, yes.
If you want to write it down, it's merman@sceneworld.org. Like the male version of a mermaid, merman.
Yeah.
At
It's Andrew
sceneworld.org.
Fisher. He's a a journalist in retro gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seriously, like he knows he's an author. He's put out another book, I think, too. Like
Yeah, constantly.
yeah. The guy's like prolific. He knows everything about everything
Right.
Oh,
from retro gaming. So if anybody
One
would
of the
know
big
anything, it would be him.
experts. Exactly. And if he doesn't know, he might somebody who
Right.
who knows,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, and unfortunately, also in the last 5 years, a lot of those cover artists unfortunately died. So
yeah.
it might also be the solution. Might also be that the person is simply not around anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's really sad, but this is how the time passes. you know?
Yeah, it's really sad. The other day, actually, just a few weeks, I did read that the artist of the characters in the game, because that wasn't Sam actually.
Hmm.
It was a guy called Paul J. He passed away 2 years ago only.
Ooh.
So he was about, I think, 40 plus when he made the characters for the game. So he was a little bit older than some artists
Right.
at the time. So yeah, sad to hear, really.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but
you are still considering what to do with the cover. Right, interesting.
yes, I do. But as one guy said, that it is a good thing if you can tell that you actually have tried to find
Right.
the one who has the right from the start. You have at least tried to do it.
Hmm.
Right,
And
right.
that person wouldn't earn anything if I would put his or her art on the cover, because I will not earn any money on that,
Right.
really. But
Really? You don't think it might be a bestseller somewhere?
You never know, of course. It can be like hype around it, but I don't make projects with the beliefs that it will be hype. I don't dare anymore. I'm too old for that. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
And
Okay.
But you never know.
so as far as rewards go, there's two tiers that I see. One
Yeah.
has the reward is the printed book is what you
Yeah.
get. The second one is the printed book with add-ons with like postcards with in-game scenes and one with signed by Sam Manthorpe.
Yeah, true. You can also buy the book and you can choose postcards from the scenes, or you can choose the postcard from Sam Manthorpe.
Okay.
If you would choose the book and all postcards, that would be $5 or €5 more expensive. So you earn a little bit to take the whole package.
Mhm.
And the reason why I put the tiers like that was that when I look into other authors' campaigns, there are so many add-ons and rewards and bonuses, and
Yeah.
for my mind, it's just too much. I want to keep it as simple as possible, and I want it to be possible to pack it into a nice box with not so bulky
Right.
and no package material and so on. Just keep it simple. So that
For
was
ex
the reason, actually.
for example,
Awesome.
Last Ninja Collection.
Oh,
They have like
oh,
50 plus
Mm.
add-ons
yeah,
and even the shipping costs differ also, because some items are shipped directly from the printing place and some are shipped from the distribution center, some are shipped by System 3 themselves. So it's like they have 3 or 4 different tiers of shipping, and
yeah,
the more you buy, the more the shipping adds up. I'm like, why I'm paying shipping a third time? Yeah, because it's shipped from a different place. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh my god. So I get where you're coming from, and I wonder if the fulfillment will go straight, or if there will be a big
yeah,
mess up once
Mhm.
the
yeah,
project concluded. So
Right.
yeah,
And
incredible.
and so the campaign that's running right now that
yes.
that ends on October 1st, is it?
Yeah, so I did actually start it today, so it's
Okay.
running for 30 days. Yeah.
Right,
Okay. So
right.
it ends on October 1st, 2025. And then
Yeah.
if fully funded, you're expecting shipping by around March-ish of 26.
Yeah,
If everything
latest
goes.
March. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everything was right, and it latest March. And then it's depending on which printer I need to use, because let's say we fund it at 100% to the
Mhm.
first level and nothing more. Then I can use a printer in Sweden, and it's a printer I've been working with before, so I will reduce the timeline
Okay.
just by doing
Mm,
that. If we get more pledge and so on, the book will be more luxurious, but that will take some more time in
mm,
addition, because I
Right.
need to use a foreign printer for that.
I see.
I
Yeah, just
haven't
saying.
found in Sweden. Yeah,
A
Right.
foreign printer.
yeah,
Interesting story. I once um I once pledged for the crowdfunding of Polytronic, which was a magazine. They said like, okay, we are making 12 issues and then that's it. And the project was from New Zealand, but the shipping and the printing was done in Singapore.
oh,
So, so that's a wild fetch. But
yeah,
obviously, doing to digitization of the world, you can now get it printed from all over the world. It doesn't really matter.
yeah,
So, and then I asked them why not doing it in New Zealand directly, and they said like shipping would be too much because the New Zealand postal service is crazy with international shipping.
yeah,
So,
and that's really sorry, because when I put the shipping into Kickstarter, you have to pay so much for the shipping for just one book. 25%
right,
is the book, and the rest
right.
is shipping. So if you say pay $25 for a book, you'd pay $75 for the shipping. It's crazy. So, but that's how it is, really.
I mean, if I get something shipped from USA, you sometimes have shipping prices of $60, and like what? So it's true. Here in Germany, we have one of the lowest shippings all over the world, but we are always complaining about our shipping prices.
Yeah.
But in fact, people are surprised, like, oh my God, it's so cheap to ship from Germany. So yeah, that's true. And also because you mentioned it in your Kickstarter that customs fees and taxes, VAT, is not covered by you, obviously. And the crazy thing is, at least for German customs, shipping costs are included in the value of the item. So the more you pay for shipping, the more you have to pay on income taxes when it arrives. Which is crazy because I'm not responsible for the shipping costs, you know?
Yeah, you're
but
right.
that's totally crazy. So
that's crazy.
depending on where you are shipping to, and the things are crazy. And for example, since last year, they made a change in Brazil for income taxes, and now it's 50% of the item's value.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, we are lucky. It's just for us, it's just 19%.
Yeah.
You know, but imagine 50% on top. Like, oh my God, that's like, no, thank you. I'm not buying from outside of Brazil.
Yeah.
So it's rough. And then also you have the problem, Sweden doesn't have euros, so I'm also paying a conversion fee on the price on top. But I'm lucky. I have a Klarna credit card that doesn't include any foreign currency fee. And Klarna, by my luck, is actually a Swedish product.
Yeah.
So
they're really successful. So you were lucky there. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like,
about
okay.
the detective novel, though.
Yeah.
True.
Where can people go online to follow along and see what you're doing?
Kickstarter.com for sure, and then it's my Instagram account.
Okay.
Detective novel.
And
then also
with underscore, so it's _detective_novel.
Yes, and you also have an author page on Instagram as well.
Yes, Lucas Lund 1. Yeah,
Awesome.
just in one word.
Okay, so we'll put a link to all of that in the description down below.
Perfect. All right. Talk to you then.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah. See you guys. Bye.
Have a good one.